So now we can start today Dhamma talk. So if you have any questions, you can ask. If it is, then I can talk something much more relevant to your day-to-day life. So anyway, it is good to have any question. So these days you can see in this world so many conflicts in some countries, and this uncertainty of most people's livelihoods also can see in some countries that is the COVID pandemic is still give a lot of troubles for people's day-to-day life. And fortunately, Australia is one of the best countries in the world. Have a lot of, they have much better control than the other countries. So anyway, so you can see sometimes in some countries, you can see the Buddhist countries, like the Myanmar and Thailand have a lot of conflicts with the governments and the people. So you can see this, time to time things are changing, not come according to people's wish or what people expect. So this is the nature of this world. So one day we think we are getting all the best, but quickly things change to different directions. So they come to the opposite side. We are getting most bad things and unfortunate and unexpected things. So this is how this world works. So that's why Lord Buddha say, when you are having the consciousness to experience this world, it always have this nature, this reality, because this whatever thing you are experiencing in this external world is subject to change. In the same time, sometimes your internal the system also change and value things in a different ways, and therefore you face suffering. So therefore, when you are conscious, that is one of the important reason to have suffering. So this is the nature of consciousness. It is not a permanent thing. It is change all the time. So these things you have to keep in mind. If you have any questions related to your day-to-day life, it is good to ask. So otherwise I will talk about a little bit about metta and how to develop loving kindness based on the right view. So if you have any questions, you can ask. So I can spend time for that. Okay, I will talk about loving kindness a little bit, because developing loving kindness is something always related to our day-to-day life, because when you develop the right view, or when you are practicing the right view, according to how Lord Buddha taught us, then you see your experiences or objects come through your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, and the reality related to all your consciousness and the activities related to all your consciousness. So the reality, if you are aware of this reality, always the non-greed, non-hatred arise in your mind. So that's why Lord Buddha say, when you have the right view, then you have the right intentions. Right intentions means non-harming thoughts, non-ill-will thought, non-sensual thoughts. So that means you see all these things leads to suffering. So therefore, so you are not inclined to do harming harm to yourself or other people. To develop ill will or the having ill will within to yourself or other external world. And you see the danger of the sensuality and suffering nature of it. So you always let go the sensuality as much as you can. But when you are living in this life, this as a human, so you have to use your body and mind, and you have to maintain your body and mind. So therefore, you have to act properly, or you have to develop actions based on non-greed, non-hatred. Otherwise, you fall into more suffering. So that's what happened to many people living in this life, because they don't know the big picture or the reality of this body and mind. So therefore, they take things in the wrong way, and therefore their mind subject to greed and hatred, and create more problems. So that is what happened in this world everywhere. When you look at the world, you can see how things are happening. So therefore, Lord Buddha say, when you listen to this kind of Dhamma, you have to investigate within yourself whether it is true or false. Then you see this impermanent nature, the uncertainty of all your experiences. You can clearly understand things how change and vanish and change to different states, and your experiences are changing. Your internal system, that means your eye, nose, tongue, body and mind, and the consciousnesses related to eye, nose, tongue, body and mind change depending on the changes of causes and conditions. In the same time, the external world also change. That is, the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and thoughts come to your mind also change. The external phenomena also change. Internal phenomena also change. So therefore, it is unsatisfactory. Then it becomes unsatisfactory, because when you experience anything, you have a choice all the time. It is a part of the consciousness. It is the way how this consciousness works. When you examine within yourself, you can clearly understand this reality, the truth of it, truth of this this teaching. So then you can use that knowledge in your day-to-day life, because these things are not under your control. Then most people try to control internal world and external world, try to control and make things better. But this controlling, the intentions which leads to controlling change all the time. These are not fixed things, because the controlling always based on how you understood these experiences, and then you try to change things, or then you generate intentions to do this thing, that thing. But your understanding always updating and changing. So your wishes, your will, your doing always change. So never come to an end. So that is the nature of body and mind. That's why Lord Buddha say the total extinguishment of all these consciousnesses. Therefore, all the forms, feelings, perceptions, and volitions go to the total extinguishment. That is the way how we can stop all sorts of suffering. So, therefore, if you have this understanding, you just use your consciousnesses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind consciousnesses, for living in this day-to-day life. And then, when you have a free time, you just pay attention to your system and just let go things and let the things fade away and disappear. So you develop that skill by maintaining the mindfulness based on this right understanding about this body and mind. The right understanding means the impermanent nature and non-self nature of this body and mind, and the suffering nature of this body and mind. So then your mind is mind trained to let go things and let the things fade away and disappear. And when you are living in your day-to-day life, you have to deal with the external world and internal world mindfully. So when you are dealing with the external world and internal world without letting go, so because you have to eat, you have to drink, you have to maintain your body, you have to live with the people who are living with you. So then you have to maintain skillful means for living the peacefully and quietly. Then it is helpful when you are practicing meditation. You can quickly bring your mind to stillness. If you are behave in this world with your with the right verbal actions and bodily actions and right livelihood, you don't get remorse and unhappiness when you remember how you behaved before. So that's why the third, fourth, and fifth factors of Noble Eightfold Path is there. So it is helpful when you are practicing the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth factors of Noble Eightfold Path. When you are practicing these last three paths, it is helpful. The first paths, the practice of first paths is helpful. So then your mind you can avoid the arising remorse in your mind, and you can quickly let go your thought and thinking process, and your mind become happy and contented. This happiness and contentment is important to let go things. Quickly let go and free your mind, liberate your mind from these five sense world issues. So that is why the loving kindness is a skillful means you can use in our day-to-day life when you are dealing with external objects. So the compassion, loving kindness, the rejoicing, the others' happiness, these things we can develop, we can use in our day-to-day life for having the right actions, right verbal actions, and right bodily actions. If you train your mind to use this loving kindness towards all external phenomena and internal phenomena, that means your eye, nose, tongue, body, and all sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and thoughts, the touches and thoughts come in. If you can maintain the loving kindness towards external these objects and internal objects, so then you can develop the skillful actions. Skillful means how to maintain the skillful way, positive way of living in this world. So it is helpful. It is helpful to maintain your happiness. So that's why Lord Buddha say, the right intentions leads to right verbal actions, bodily actions, and right livelihood. So therefore, when you have a free time, you can develop the right thoughts towards all living beings, including yourself. The loving kindness, you can spread loving kindness towards your eye, nose, tongue, body, and mind, and similarly, all external, the humans, all living beings, not only humans, all living beings, all other objects also. Sometimes how do we say, the animate objects and inanimate objects, all forms, all forms, you can say, come through your eye, nose, tongue, body. You can develop the loving kindness towards all forms. So all feelings, all perceptions, all volitions, and just let go, free. This kind of training is helpful to free your mind from dealing, too much involving with external world and internal world. You can just release all these things and maintain the happiness of your mind. If your mind is discontented, unhappy, then your mind is always involved in these experiences. Otherwise, your mind is, if the mind is contented, your mind let go things and liberate your mind from the dealing with all these things. So that is the way how Lord Buddha says the skillful means of releasing your mind from doing things. It is one way of doing it. So when you are contemplating all these experiences as impermanent and non-self and leads to suffering, that is also a way of letting go. But when you are dealing with these objects, much more helpful, the second level, that means the loving kindness, developed loving kindness, or compassion, and the rejoicing. These four Brahma Vihara, according to Lord Buddha's teachings. This is the way how the people in Lord Buddha's time develop their minds to go to the Brahma realm and go there and enjoy that peacefulness of mind and the peaceful board of existence, that is some way of exist in this world without having less suffering, minimize the suffering. So that is one way that practice in Buddha's time. Some Brahmins or the skillful people knew these things. Lord Buddha say the same thing, but Lord Buddha say, if you don't understand whatsoever existence leads to suffering, because the mind is not a fixed thing, it is not a permanent thing, it is always change when the causes and conditions are changing. So therefore it leads to different states of, because the intentions arise to go to different states. So once you experience the peaceful state for a long time, you are not happy with that state and you want to go and experience a different state of existences. So then you leave that Brahma realm and go to different realms. So that's what Lord Buddha say. Your mind, until you don't see that all sorts of existence leads to suffering, so then you are happy to extinguish all experiences. So even the perceptions and feelings and perceptions, you are ready to let go and end all experiences. That is the way how in the samsara, then you are not going to born again in somewhere, rebirth or come to exist in any whatsoever way is not happen, because you have no intention, you have no wish, you have no choice there. You are not choosing anything. Your choices disappear. Because your feelings, perceptions, you let go to the total extinguishment. So this is just the way how it happens. But you have to develop the skill to go to the final end. That means the feelings and perceptions extinguishment. You have to experience within yourself. So you have to develop that skill to let go. So that's why Lord Buddha showed us a path to train you how to extinguish your five senses and the five sense consciousnesses. How to extinguish. Then you can experience five sense consciousness, extinguishment of five sense consciousnesses. But mind sense is there. Still have the feelings and perceptions and volitions there related to the mind, but not related to the five sense world. So when a person develops the path to the end, they directly experience the total extinguishment of five senses. So that is a great experience. Then they can clearly understand this five sense consciousness, whatever consciousness arises in your mind is always arise based on causes and conditions. When the causes and conditions disappear, this consciousness is also disappear. So then they clearly understand consciousness is a phenomena. It arises when the causes and conditions are there. When the causes and conditions ceases, this consciousness is also cease. It can directly experience by when a person is attaining jhanas, they clearly experience eye consciousness, ear, nose, tongue, body consciousnesses are totally disappear, vanish. So the extinguishment experience. So then they get the courage, because they know how it extinguish. Because we reflect on this, the suffering nature and non-self nature and uncertainty of this, whatever experience you have through five senses. Then you let go and free your mind. So then these consciousnesses are fade away and disappear. So once you experience that reality, you clearly know these consciousnesses, all consciousnesses can let the things to fade, let all the consciousnesses fade away and disappear. So it is a reality. So the first you experience the five sense disappearance, then you get the courage to disappear, let disappear the mind sense also. So then it is the end of the path. So it is the end of the course of whatever thing you have to do. Then beyond that, there is no way to arise suffering, because there is no more experience. So the loving kindness is helpful to maintain, when you are living in this world, when you are dealing with this external world, loving kindness is helpful to develop the skillful means. And compassion and rejoicing mind and equanimity. Equanimity also, there are four things. The equanimity, you develop the equanimity towards all external world. These are helpful to maintain the skillful means. Not falling into negative states of mind, not falling into unskillful means and create more suffering to yourself and others. So I will read the two sutras related to these 4 Brahma Viharas. So how Lord Buddha told about these things and differentiate of previously, even the Buddha's time, people practiced these things, these 4 Brahma Viharas. But the difference between the Lord Buddha's disciples and who are practicing the Brahma Viharas and the people who practice under the other teachings, other teachers. Because the difference is they don't see the non-self nature of this body and mind. It is just a phenomena, according to Lord Buddha's teaching. It arises based on causes and conditions. So then you can let go up to the total cessation. So total cessation in the existence, then in all sorts of suffering. Otherwise, whatever whatever level of existence you develop will change, because your consciousness is not a permanent thing, not a fixed thing. The choices change, then the state of consciousness change to different things. So different levels, go to different levels of existences. So I will read this sutta, so then you can understand how Lord Buddha say about these things. This is this sutta is Anguttara Nikaya. If anyone see the sutta translations, you can see AN 4.2. 1, 2, 5. So you can read these suttas in sutta translations. I'm reading Ajahn Sujato's translation, and I remove the abbreviations, and this is the whole sutta, whole sutta translation. This is Anguttara Nikaya, Chatukka Nipata, Bhayavagga, Patama Metta Sutta. Numbered discourses, force. This is number 13, fears. 125, love. That is Ajahn Sujato's translation. Love, the first. Patama Metta Sutta. Mendicants. These 4 people are found in the world. What for? Firstly, a person meditates, spreading a heart full of love to one direction, and to the second direction, and to the third, and to the fourth. In the same way, above, below, across, everywhere, all around, they spread a heart full of love to the world, to the whole world. Abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. They enjoy this and like it and find it satisfying. If they abide in that, are committed to it, and meditate on it, often without losing it, when they die, they are reborn in the company of gods of Brahma's host. Brahmakayika Deva. This is Brahma's host. The lifespan of the gods of Brahma's host is 1 eon. The ordinary person stays there until the lifespan of those gods is spent. Then they go to hell or animal realm or ghost realm. So that's what happened. If you are not having the right view regarding this life, so it leads to more intentions. It leads to more different kind of existence. They go in samsara. So once you go in samsara, whatever thing encounter you makes your mind, your choices change. So therefore, it leads to different kind of existence up to the hell. So that depends on, because they don't understand the big picture, the reality of these existences. But a disciple of the Buddhas stays there until the lifespan of those gods is spent. Then they are extinguished in that very life. This is the difference between an educated noble disciple and uneducated ordinary person. That is, when there is a place of rebirth. Because the uneducated ordinary person means the person who haven't listened to the Buddha's teachings, or the path to haven't met people who practice the path to Nibbana, and how they see this world, they don't know. So that's why they go in samsara. So therefore, they have a rebirth. They go in samsara, go to one birth to the other. So that's why they fall into suffering. Furthermore, a person meditates, spreading a heart full of compassion to one direction, and to the second, and to the third, and to the fourth. In the same way, above, below, across, everywhere, all around, they spread a heart full of compassion to the whole world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. They enjoy this and like it and find it satisfying. If they abide in that, are committed to it, and meditate on it, often without losing it, they die, they are reborn in the company of the gods of streaming radiance. Abhasara Deva. The lifespan of the gods of streaming radiance is 2 eons. An ordinary person stays there until the lifespan of those gods is spent. Then they go to hell or animal realm or the ghost realm. But a disciple of the Buddha stays there until the lifespan of those gods is spent. Then they are extinguished in that very life. This is the difference between an educated, noble disciple and an uneducated, ordinary person. That is, when there is a place of rebirth. Furthermore, a person meditates, spreading a heart full of rejoicing to one direction, and to the second, and to the third, and to the fourth. In the same way, above, below, across, everywhere, all around, they spread a heart full of rejoicing to the whole world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. They enjoy this and like it, find it satisfying. If they abide in that, are committed to it, and meditate on it often without losing it. When they die, they are reborn in the company of the gods, replete with glory. Subhakinnaka Deva. The lifespan of the gods replete with glory of 4 eons. Glory is 4 eons. The lifespan of the gods replete with the glory is 4 eons. An ordinary person stays there until the lifespan of those gods is spent. Then they go to hell or the animal realm or the ghost realm. But a disciple of the Buddha stays there until the lifespan of those gods is spent. Then they are extinguished in that very life. This is the difference between an educated noble disciple and an uneducated ordinary person. That is, when there is a place of rebirth. Furthermore, a person meditates, spreading heart full of equanimity to one direction, and to the second, and to the third, and to the fourth. In the same way, above, below, across, everywhere, all around, they spread a heart full of equanimity to the whole world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. They enjoy this and like it and find it satisfying. If they abide in that, are committed to it and meditate on it, often without losing it. When they die, they are reborn in the company of the gods of abundant fruit. Vehappala Deva. The lifespan of the gods of abundant fruit is 500 eons. An ordinary person stays there until the lifespan of those gods is spent. Then they go to hell or the animal realm or the ghost realm. But a disciple of the Buddha stays there until the lifespan of those gods is spent. Then they are extinguished in that very life. This is the difference between an uneducated noble. This is the difference between an educated noble disciple and an uneducated ordinary person. That is, when there is a place of rebirth. These are the 4 people found in the world. So this is how Lord Buddha taught us this, the difference between the practicing loving kindness in 2 people. So if you have the understanding, right understanding about your experiences, and all these experiences arise based on intentions, volitions, and when the volitions change, it changes to different states. So that's why without achieving the total extinguishment or seeing this impermanent nature of all these experiences, you just attach to these things, holding on these things. But the holding on things is happened by your mind or the mental process. But mental process or mind is not a fixed thing. It changes when the causes and conditions change. So it goes to different states of existence. That's why when there is no more existence, once one existence ends, if the mind is not going to have another existence, that is the end. So once you come to the end, all suffering ends. Once it is going, until it is going to the rebirths or re-existences, it leads to suffering. Because this going happens because they don't understand there is total extinguishment and ending of all this suffering. There is no fixed, the consciousness is here, so you can let it to extinguish, let it fade away and disappear. So this is how Lord Buddha say in this sutta. There is another sutta next to that sutta, that is the 126. I read the 125th sutta, and this is the 126th sutta. That is Dutiya Metta Sutta. That is 126, love second. So I will read this sutta also. This one explains a little bit more about how the noble disciple deal with these jhana experiences, and once they go to rebirth in this deva realm, this kind of existences, how they take these things and how they use those existences to go to the total extinguishment. So I will read this second sutta. Mendicants, these 4 people are found in the world. What for? Firstly, a person meditates, spreading a heart full of love to one direction, and to the second, and to the third, and to the fourth. In the same way, above, below, across, everywhere, all around, they spread a heart full of love to the whole world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. They contemplate the phenomena there, including in form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousnesses, as impermanent, as suffering, as deceased, as an abscess, as a dart, as misery, as an affliction, an alien, as falling apart, as empty, as non-self. When their body breaks up, after death, they are reborn in the company of gods of the pure abodes. The rebirth is not shared with ordinary people. Once you reborn in a pure abode, they don't come back to any other realm. They end and totally extinguish after that existence. Pure abode is Suddhavasa in Pali term. The second person. Furthermore, a person meditates, spreading a heart full of compassion to one direction, and to the second, and to the third, and to the fourth. In the same way, above, below, across, everywhere, all around, they spread a heart full of compassion to the whole world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. They contemplate the phenomena there, including in form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousnesses, as impermanent, as suffering, as diseased, as an abscess, as a dart, as misery, as an affliction, as alien, as falling apart, as empty, as not self. When their body breaks up after death, they are reborn in the company of the gods of pure abodes. This rebirth is not shared with ordinary people. Third person. Furthermore, a person meditates, spreading a heart full of rejoicing to one direction, mudita, that is mudita, and to the second, and to the third, and to the fourth. In the same way, above, below, across, everywhere, all around, they spread a heart full of rejoicing to the whole world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. They contemplate the phenomena there, including in form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousnesses, as impermanent, as suffering, as diseased, as an abscess, as a dart, as a misery, as an affliction, as alien, as falling apart, as empty, as not self. When their body breaks up after death, they are reborn in the company of gods of the pure abodes. This rebirth is not shared with ordinary people. Fourth person. Furthermore, a person meditates, spreading a heart full of equanimity to one direction, and to the second, and to the third, and to the fourth. In the same way, above, below, across, everywhere, all around, they spread a heart full of equanimity to the whole world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. They contemplate the phenomena there, including in form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousness, as impermanent, as suffering, as diseased, as an abscess, as a dart, as misery, as an affliction, as alien, as falling apart, as empty, as not self. When their body breaks up after death, they are reborn in the company of the gods of the pure abodes. This rebirth is not shared with ordinary people. There are the four people found in the world. So these are the two suttas I read. So this is just for telling to emphasizing how Lord Buddha taught us this the right view and the value of the right view. So if there is any questions, you can ask now.
Bhante, we've got a couple of online questions.
Yes.
I'll start with this one here because it's probably what you just touched on. So how do you use the Dhamma practice to become your own best friend? How do you use the Dhamma practice to become your own best friend?
Yeah, to become your own best friend means if you have the faith towards your practice, if you know the benefits of the practice, so then you naturally fall into that practice because that is your belief, that is your confidence. You have the enough confidence to use that practice. Then you can't separate from it, because in your day-to-day life, if you see that if I'm saying in terms of the impermanent nature, non-self nature, suffering nature, that is how the Lord Buddha introduce this life or this body and mind, how it works. So if you know this, you can use at any time, because you know that is the reality, that is the truth. You believe it. And you examine and see again and again, yeah, this is true, this is right. So you take into your practice. So that's why the practice always develops based on your faith. When you have the faith and confidence, and then you are always ready to use it. So that's why the chanda is the first iddipada. Iddipada is the, how do we translate? It is the first, the one give you the energy, how to give the power. So if you have the choice, you have you have to choose it. You have to value it. So then you have the desire or wanting to use it. It is come within yourself. When you have Shraddha, that means you have the confidence and faith on these things. Because you first examine and understand, and you come to that faith or confidence. So then you are naturally fall into that use. Then it become your friend, because you know it works to you. It gives you the peace of mind. It liberates your mind from suffering. So once you experience, you naturally start using it.
Bhante, sorry, we've got to need to make a quick announcement.
I'm not sure whether the person is in this building, but there's a four-wheel drive by the number plate is Malia, blocking somebody. They've just rung the council, and they just want, if anybody's here with that car, you better move it really, really fast. Darling Road, just opposite the BSV. Thank you. Malia is the name of the number plate. It's a big four-wheel silver four-wheel.
Continue, Bhante. Sorry.
Okay. Is there any other questions?
Yes, there was.
Yeah, you can.
Take a question from the discourse you gave,
Okay,
rather
yeah.
than get it from there, right? You described, of course, this is about the Four Noble Abodes practicing, and what's the outcome of the practitioner. But there are two practitioners here, the instructed being and the uninstructed being, Krutakya and Arya. So this is the important part as for us, how we become a instructed being or uninstructed being. But the results are different. What happens? So the instructed being is a person who understands the reality, anicca, dukkha, anatta, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have to understand there is the suffering, there is impermanence, and there is no self. That is the important part. So you have to be in that frame of mind to practice this to get the best results.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Or is it necessary for this person to get rid of the four fetters or become a stream enterer to get the best results? So this is my question. What is the separation between the uninstructed and the instructed in this practice?
Yeah, it is a good question, because this instructed and uninstructed difference actually ends when you develop, that is the level of faith is developing. So first you listen to this kind of Dhamma, then you get the interest first. If you don't get the interest, you don't listen and you don't follow. But once you get the interest, then you start practicing it, or you start using that knowledge in your day-to-day life. So the important thing is, if people think this is not enough, or they think to do things and do more things, so it is actually not properly understanding Dhamma, not properly understanding the non-self. There is no self here. So this is natural process. That's why it is important to have to associate with people who are practicing this path to deeper levels. So that's why you have to find out the good practitioners to get the right understanding. Right understanding means the right way of practicing this path. So then you familiar with the way how to deal with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the forms, feelings, perceptions, volitions arise in your body and mind. So then you get the right relationship. You understand how to deal with these things. So this understanding come to you when you are listening to Dhamma, when a person who practice the path. Some people just, they teach, they learn and teach. They are not practicing, so they don't know exactly what to do and what not to do. So what is the right way and wrong? Because when you read this Dhamma, based on the wrong view, you understand Lord Buddha's teachings in wrong way. So that is the reality. So even any other subject, when you are learning, if you don't have the practical experiences, you just read the teachings or how they teach about that one. So your feelings, perceptions arise based on your experiences. That is the problem. So, for example, shall we take this example? If a person who hasn't seen swimming, someone is swimming on water, so he has seen maybe the animals are swimming, not a human, so they think, or sometimes maybe he has seen some humans also swimming. He also want to swim, so he learned from books how to do these strokes and all these things, and he build up set of perceptions, and he jumped to water. What will happen? Because without having practical experience, they don't know how this body is floating on the water and all these things. They can learn, they can get some perceptions, but not real understanding. So you have to. That's why it is important to get the training with the person who know how to swim. So then you clearly understand what you have to do and what you haven't to do. So you are clearly understand what should be done and what shouldn't be done. So in the same way, when you see this Dhamma, when you read this Dhamma, because the majority of the society have no right view. They haven't developed the right view. So if you see through that angle, you don't see what is right and what is wrong. Always you are thinking based on I, me, myself. It is a part of the system. It is part of the all consciousnesses. So that's why it is important to listen to the people who are practicing the path and practicing to deeper stages. Then they can clearly say, this is the problem, so you have to avoid this. So how to deal with the feelings, perceptions, and volitions. So how to deal with your mind. So therefore, you have to go to see, or you have to listen to people and carefully understand what they are saying and take into your practice and see within yourself whether it is working or not. That is the way Lord Buddha told us to listen to other people and try out within yourself. Then you see the liberation within you. So then you see it works or it isn't work. So then you see, this is true, this works. So then when you get the view rightly, you start seeing things, how it is going on, how everything rise and pass away, all these things you can see within yourself. Because you are looking at the right place. You are looking at the right phenomena. So then you understand how it's happening within yourself. So that's why the faith is the factor is growing all the time. So if the faith is not growing anymore, doubt is growing. So you are not coming to the path. Because doubt is the biggest hindrance to come to the path. Why doubt is growing? Because that Dhamma is not give any benefit to you. You are not practicing the right thing. So that's why it is important to listen and practice and see how it works. So if it is working, then naturally your mind attracted to it, because you see the benefits of it. You see the liberation. You see the extinguishment of suffering within yourself. So it strengthens the faith and confidence towards that teaching. It is a natural phenomenon. It is the way how it happens. So therefore you have to try out. Therefore you have to find out. You have to listen and practice and see how it works. So you can listen to many different people. Lord Buddha never say, you just listen to me, don't listen to other people. Never say. He said, any person, whatever thing they are saying, you just listen and think wisely and use it and see whether your mind get released and you can abandon the suffering nature of your mind, and you can clearly understand what is going on, how things are happening. The alobha, adosa, amoha, these three start growing. Non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion start growing within yourself when you are using the right view.
Next question.
Yes, ask.
This was actually the first question. He says, good morning, Bhante. I have one question about using the Dhamma to make decisions. I have to make a decision about my job right now. I have a few choices. I can see positives and negatives to all my choices and know that I could make the best of any choice based on what the Dhamma I know. But how do I use the Dhamma to make the best decision?
Yeah, simply I can say, if your decision is not leads to more suffering, if your decision leads to more suffering or more problems to you, you should avoid it. So most of the time, unskillful means the strong greed-based decisions, and mostly anger-based decisions leads to suffering. So if it is the strong greed or strong anger is there, when you are making the decision, definitely it will lead to suffering. So that's why Lord Buddha say, when you are doing things, you should carefully think and see whether it leads to more suffering or more happiness in future. So you can understand these things. So you have to make decisions based on the non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. Non-greed, non-hatred is sometimes you have to take in the correct way. Because when you are living in this world, you have to live, you have to earn, you have to deal with other people. So for living in this world, you have to choose these non-harming thoughts, non-ill will thoughts. If your harming thoughts, ill will thoughts develop when you make that decision, it will lead to more suffering to you or others. So you have to avoid that kind of decisions. If that decision leads to more peace and calmness and develop non-greed, non-hatred in future, you have to make that decision. You have to go in that way. So that is the way Lord Buddha said. You have to choose in the right thing. Avoid unskillful things and practice skillful means. That is non-greed, non-hatred. That is the answer, I think, the appropriate according to Dhamma.
This is the last question from the online audience. How can we get rid of Sakya Ditti while living in our daily life?
Yeah, in our daily life, if we have to, because our mind is always interacting with objects based on its training, the previous training, previous intentions, that is called karma. How we dealt with objects, each and every object. So we have the consciousness arise. Consciousness means feelings, perceptions, and volitions arise automatically. So this automatic process is always based on your past practices, past intentions, past way of behaving. So if you know, if you're aware of this nature of this natural way of happening things, you know this always our mind choose things based on greed and hatred. So when you are acting presently, if you know these things may lead to suffering, then you can reflect wisely and develop the right actions. Develop right actions based on non-greed, non-hatred. Because these are impermanent things. These are not fixed things. Our consciousness always run based on our past actions. So if you know that, then you can slow down your mind. That means you not just act according to your feelings and perceptions. If you contemplate, your feelings and perceptions are always based on causes and conditions, and these are changed to different states, and these are impermanent, and sometimes these feelings and perceptions leads to suffering. So therefore, you can first abandon it, and then reconsider and use it in the much more wise way or much more skillful way. You can employ the skillful thoughts to develop. So that's why the right intentions you have to develop. You have to practice. That's why loving kindness you have to develop and practice. You have to use it. Using means you have to apply on your day-to-day activities. You have to filter through these perceptions. Then you can abandon remove all the bad verbal actions and bodily actions. You can purify your verbal actions and bodily actions through this filter. That means the right perceptions. That means the skillful perceptions. Developing loving kindness, compassion, the equanimity, the joy, the rejoicing others, their happiness. These kind of things. When you develop those skillful means, these are useful to filter out the unskillful actions, verbal actions, bodily actions, and the livelihoods. So that is the way how we have to take into practice, because this mind is a natural phenomena. So when you know it, you are not just following your feelings and perceptions. You know all these feelings and perceptions arise based on past activities, past delusion, because this is a delusion-based the phenomena. So non-delusion you have to use. That means this is if you are aware of the impermanent nature and non-self nature, your mind is come to the non-deluded states. Then you know to let go things and to free your mind and use the skillful means, non-greed based, non-hatred based actions. So then you can employ that kind of good actions, non-greed based, non-hatred based actions. So that's why Lord Buddha say, when you are using the right view, then you develop the right intentions. Then when you develop the right intentions, your verbal actions, bodily actions, and livelihood get purified by that right intentions. Okay. Is there any more questions? No.
Is there time for one?
Yeah, ask.
Thanks for the talk, Bhante. My question's about the first sutta that you read. And I don't know if I'm overlapping.
Yeah. First sutta I read
a little bit with the gentleman that asked a question earlier, but it sounded kind of black and white. Like if you don't have right view and you practice a lot of loving kindness, then you go to like a heaven realm. But
yes.
then after you would go to quite a lower realm. You'd go to ghost, hell, or
any kind of other realms.
And I wonder, is it so black and white? Is part of the question.
Yeah.
And the other question was, does right view in that sutta mean stream entry? Because my understanding was that right views is incremental, and I was just thinking that even having loving kindness or being willing to practice loving kindness would show some element of right view.
No, practicing loving kindness may be based on different views, because sometimes you just see the benefits of loving kindness and it gives you happiness. It avoid a lot of problems. So you just use it. But it never leads to end of samsara, end of the going in one life to the other. You know, you use it as skillful means in our day-to-day life, avoiding the bad mental states or bad experiences. You can avoid, but it never leads to end of suffering. So that's why Lord Buddha say, when people practice loving kindness to that kind of deeper levels, so they go and reborn on that kind of Brahma realms. That means the powerful gods. They live eons. So the equanimity they practice, they can live large number of eons, 500 eons. They live in that realm. But after that, they get fed up with that existence and they go to different realms. So then they may come up to the hell, down to the hell. So that's because they don't understand the suffering arise because existences. When you exist, you experience. This experience, when you are experiencing things, your intentions change based on your experiences. Your choices change. It is a natural phenomenon, a natural way of happening things. That's why simply say, when you see an advertisement, you make a choice, and then you buy, you eat, drink, live in that way. Because these things, when things come to your mind naturally choose things and go behind these things. It is the way how it works.
Is it necessarily so that someone, after being in one of the heaven realms for that period of time, would go to a lower? Or
No.
Black and white. I wondered if it was.
No, it actually means that they are going to rebirths. When they go to the rebirths, it doesn't mean that just falling into the hell, but they may fall into the different realms of existence. Sometimes they may choose again the human realm because they think, I came to this abode while I was staying in human realm. I practice this one. So I can serve to these humans. I can help to these humans. So I will promote this practice to humans. They can come and promote that kind of practice. This is the way how you have to practice. But still he is going in samsara. He is choosing something different. But it is a good thing. But he is still going through samsara. Once they come to this human realm, if the people harass him, hate him, create a lot of problems, sometimes they lose their practice. That depends on the other influences. Peer pressure can change people's attitudes. Because they attach to the existence. They do not let go the existence. So they want to experience good things. They want to experience happiness. So that's why when any object comes and they block their happiness, so then they start fighting. So anger, hatred, all unskillful means arise. Sometimes the peer pressure, the others encourage you to, you should not stay like this. You have to fight, otherwise you will suffer. This kind of. Sometimes you fall into, mind is always run based on conditioning. So that's why it is important to see within yourself and eliminate things. So that's why the following the path, the living with the noble friends of this world is important. Otherwise, you lose the path. You don't get the path. Once you come to the path, you see the benefits. Then you just follow the benefits arise. It is not you is doing. The mind is the process, natural process. It just follows. When it found it see the clear path and clearly see how things arise and pass away. Then the minds naturally follow that path. No one is doing. It is the way how it happens.
Bhante, sorry to come back again. This is about the Sakkaya question. The person asked about Sakkaya, how to get rid of it. That is the wave of separate self. I think about the Buddha's teaching, you get rid of the view of separate self by understanding how the separate self is formed.
Yeah.
That is how the simple answer to that.
Hmm.
How do you get there? Through the entire practice.
Yeah.
That is the way to get rid of self.
Yeah. First, you have to develop the confidence. You have to experience the extinguishment of suffering. When you listen to Dhamma and when you take into practice, you have to see within yourself. So then you build up the confidence to use it. So then you go to the deeper levels of the practice. That is how it happens. Yes, that is true. That is correct. You have to listen carefully and think wisely and take into your practice. Then you see the benefits. Then mind naturally attracts to that practice. So it leads to the total extinguishment. You see in the right angle, right way. It is not just avoid suffering in this life, but it see how suffering arise and what are the causes and conditions behind this suffering. So how these causes and conditions arise, what are the root to arise, what are the bases to arise these causes and conditions? It is just existence. When you come to exist, you experience. When you have the experiences, that means consciousness. When you have the consciousness, then you have choices. It is the nature, how it happens. Avidya, tannaha, upadana, sankara, kama. This is the natural process. Because the delusion is always control the consciousness. That is why come to existence. Because delusion. Otherwise, never come to exist. So no intentions arise. There is no delusion. So delusion is actually totally overcome by experiencing the total extinguishment. Until otherwise, you are attached to the existences. You don't know how to totally extinguish or end all kind of experiences. So you are bound to the experiences. It is a natural process, natural way of happening things. So you have to study, you have to think wisely, you have to apply and see within yourself. It is the way how it happens. Okay. Now can we stop? Okay. Now we pay respect. Huh? Do you have any more questions? Okay, you can ask. Okay. Still we have time, no? Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. I would like to ask, thank you, Master. I would like to ask, what is your view about the goal of learning Buddhism? What is the purpose of learning Buddhism? Is it to come to non-existence, or is it to end the suffering of ourselves and others? And from what you're sharing, how do you view, the Earth Buddha and our Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva? They dedicate their life to end the suffering for many sentient beings before they become enlightenment. So from what you're sharing, that would they have like a purpose to help, so helping other sentient beings to end their sufferings, and they decided to come back life after life to do that job. So how is your opinion about their actions? Thank you.
Yeah, according to Buddha's teachings, Lord Buddha showed us how to end the suffering, why suffering arises, and what are the causes and conditions, what is suffering is, what are the causes and conditions to arise suffering, and how to extinguish suffering, the path to extinguish the suffering. So these things, this is the teachings of Buddha. That is the purpose of the Buddha's arising in this world. So Buddha taught us, and he went to Parinibbana, gave the example. That means the total extinguishment, no more existence. So he encouraged all others to go on that path. So, according to the Lord Buddha's teachings, Lord Buddha encouraged us to end the suffering. There is a path to ending suffering. So that is what in sutras, that is what in Lord Buddha's teachings. So the helping others is a part of when we are existing in this world. We are helping to others. We are encourage others to avoid suffering. How to avoid suffering, how understand the life, understand the body and mind, the nature of body and mind, and avoid all sorts of suffering. How to avoid suffering. These things teach when you understand really how to avoid suffering. When you are following the path, when you are going through the path, you can teach others. So the Lord Buddha haven't taught us to going the life to life and help others to avoid suffering. There is no such a teaching. First, you should become an example to others. If a person is going, that means going life to life is a natural phenomena of happening things. If a person knows how to end this process, so he first follow that path and tell to others to follow that path. Without following, if we are not following the path and tell others to follow path, that is not the way of Buddha. Yatavadi tatakari. Whatever thing he is telling, he is doing the same thing. That's what Lord Buddha says. So that is my answer, because these things, different people have different views and ideas and telling things, because now the Buddhism has come past over 2,500 years. So different people have different ideas, but if people come to the path, if people clearly understand what is the path, how liberation happens within ourselves, within our bodies and minds, they clearly know what is right and what is wrong.
Bhante, the question is, I think in the Mahayana teaching, in the Mahayana teaching as well as the Vajrayana teaching, they mentions about all the different bodhisattva that reincarnate or live in perpetuity to pass on the teaching to others or to save sentient beings. Are they being mentioned in the sutta?
We haven't seen, because I read about the Mahayana Suttas, some Mahayana Suttas, they have this kind of references. But the people who did research regarding how these suttas developed and what are the causes and conditions behind these things, actually they clearly say the all Mahayana suttas are later developments, not the early Buddhism. That's why now the Buddhists who go to deeper Buddhism, they clearly say the early Buddhism is different to the later Buddhism. Later Buddhism have all these, the Bodhisattva ideas and all these things. But early Buddhism did not have all these things. There's a big difference. So the later Buddhism actually developed this Bodhisattva and the Bodhisattva yana and Shravaka yana. They divided into two. This Bodhisattva yana is a later development. That's what they say. So you can read the people who are doing research work. So they say all the language used in these later suttas you can clearly understand. People who know linguistics, they know very well. These later suttas, they can clearly say this which era this sutta wrote and composed. So these all Mahayana suttas are later developed ideas. So they are, and it is pretty clear because how they introduce to the society, they clearly say the person who lived after 200 years, Lord Buddha passed away, he say, I go to the meditative states and I recollect, I met Buddha and he told me like this, he told me like that. He is now telling after 200 years or 300 years. So and he explained totally different thing. So that means it going totally, the teaching haven't heard before. And he say, oh, I met Buddha 200 years ago when I was living there. So that kind of thing. So that depends on, because they want to do something good to the humanity. They want to give something good to the humanity. They are not just teaching, they're cheating or doing something. So they have the good wishes to do it. Because they saw something lack or something not powerful enough to give people the much more benefits. Because all this deity-based thinking, because when people read or study Dhamma, if they haven't met the Aryas, they don't develop the right view. When they have the wrong view, it is a part of the nature. It is how it works. So they develop many different other methods to help people, support people. That is what happened even before Buddha. So they are telling something good. Even the later time, even the Mahayana are telling something good, but it never leads to the end of suffering. It brings you in samsara. So that's the difference. That's why if people who study this Dhamma to deeper stages, they clearly understand this. The early Buddhism actually leads to end of suffering. Later Buddhism brings in samsara. There's no big difference.
But Ajahn, there are many masters in the tradition of Chan Buddhism and Zen Buddhism. So they were enlightened masters. So enlightenment is possible through, I guess, the other rites as well.
Yeah, that's the people. Even non-Buddhists. How many non-Buddhists or the non-Buddha's followers also they claim enlightenment.
No, they consider their masters and their lineage from the Buddha itself. They are not saying that they are not Buddhists.
Yeah.
They are claiming that they are Buddhists because their root teacher is Buddha itself. And as per their sayings, the Mahayana school derived from the second turning of the wheel, and the Vajrayana school started from the third turning of the wheel. So, as per their teachings, and mainly whatever the Diamond Sutra and the Heart Sutra says, they say that they had the reference that it was a conversation which happened either in front of the Buddha, like in the Heart Sutra, when Avalokiteshvara told about the Heart Sutra to Sariputra. But that conversation happened when the Buddha was in the meditative state, and basically after the sutra ended, Buddha came out of the meditative state and said to this was basically something like, basically he affirmed that, yes, whatever has been said was well said in a way. Basically, he said to Avalokiteshvara that whatever you have said is correct.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is just follow these things and see whether it works or not. Then you can practically understand, because they talking and arguing, because I don't have experience of practicing any of these things, so that's why I can't say anything about these things. Maybe these things work. All these are stories. You just follow these things and see whether you attain the end of suffering. Or you come to the end of suffering. This is a practical experience, so you have to do it and see whether it is working or not.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But if we think logically, the Mahayana path doesn't seem like it's not relevant. Basically, if we think it logically, see, it's not irrelevant, rather it seems more logical. In the sense, see, we say that nirvana is unconditioned, right? So no conditions can create nirvana. No matter how much we follow the Eightfold Path, the causes of the following of the Eightfold Path can't actually create nirvana, right? So nirvana is the unconditioned phenomena. So if it is unconditioned, it means it is deathless, so it means it is birthless, so it means it should be available every time, or it will never be available, either of the two conditions. We say it's deathless, right? So it's a birthless thing. So it can't have a birth in a way. So logically it means either it should be available every time or it should never be available, because it can't take a birth. So if it is there, it should be available every time. So Mahayana view says that mind projected outwards is samsara, and mind without any projection is nirvana in a way. So basically samsara and nirvana both are available right now. it's all about how our minds are working currently.
Yeah,
So-
these are all logics. So if you take this lamp, you can see the flame. When the oil finish or this wax finish, this flame extinguish. So you can say all the time flame is existing, or when the causes and conditions ceases, it ceases.
No.
So you can't say it is exist all the time or it is extinguished all the time. It is exists sometimes. It extinguish when the causes and conditions are not there. That kind of teaching we understood.
It basically comes down to our awareness in a way.
Yeah.
Basically, whatever the Vajrayana teachings say, it comes down, or the Mahayana teaching says, it literally somehow, my thinking says it comes down to our own awareness. So since our awareness is primordially present as per the teachings, and it never vanishes, because that is the thing which transmigrates based on our whatever karma we have created and our state of mind, and the state of our mind, basically the positive and the negative qualities in our mind. So that primordial awareness basically rebirths. Basically, reincarnation is not a good word. Rebirth takes a rebirth in the next realms and experiences a happening of the previous causes and conditions. So our primordial awareness is basically something like the unconditioned, because that awareness was not born and that never dies as per the Vajrayana teachings and the Mahayana teachings. And that thing basically, in a way, when it gets diluted, it creates samsara. Basically, the primordial ignorance in a way, that an existence of a thing or a no thing. Basically, it's something like if you can't have a view in a way. If you say there is a me, it's wrong. If you say there is no me, that is also wrong, because still you are holding on to the view that there is no me. So it's neither self nor not self, it's rather non-self. So in a way, it's beyond thinking in a way. So we are coming prior to intellect in a way. We can't think about that thing. So that stuff, which is always aware, even in our sleep, in our deep sleep states, in our waking state, something like that. That awareness, basically, they refer to as unconditioned in a way.
Yeah.
So that is the realization of the true self in a way.
My apology, can I interrupt here? This is very interesting topics, and obviously there's a cause for big debate, which is outside the forum of this morning talk. Can we leave this topic to another day? Obviously, I mean, the Vajrayana and Mahayana have their have their due respect, and they have been a big, they are also quite a practice of their own, and certainly have their own belief. We should respect that too. And shall we leave this topic to another day? Can we call it off a day? For having? Thank you so much.
Okay.
Let's pay respect.
Yeah.
Please join us for lunch next door.
Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivadi Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namassami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namah